you don't know, I am Jen Smith.
Yay!
Director of SOMOS, and the person that you can either praise or blame if things don't go well this weekend. Okay, now I have some people to thank who have helped support the Writers' Conference this year. One of our primary supporters has been the New Mexico Humanities Council and also New Mexico Arts. In addition to that, we have a local business. In addition to all the businesses that donated things for the raffle, Calagon Roofing is one of the sponsors for this conference this year. So if you need a roof, you might have to wait a while. They're very busy. So tonight I invited a colleague, friend, incredible editor, teacher, poet, publisher of 4 books, working on her 5th, because I really wanted a poet to introduce Allison, because they know the lingo, they have the language, they can explain it better than I can. I write poems a little, but I'm not a pro by any means. So I would like to invite Veronica Golos. She's a local poet who you're just an incredible teacher and very, very encouraging. That's what I really want to say. And she's teaching a workshop tomorrow morning with Kathy Easterson, who's right there, who's also great and very encouraging, because I've taken classes with both of them. So come on out, Veronica. And tomorrow night, Veronica is going to read, and she will have her books here for sale.
So thank you, Jan, always generous, and we really, what Jan has done for this community is beyond measure. So there is so much to say about, look at this blue. This latest book by Allison Hedge Coke. Just the title alone doubles as a declarative and an exclamation. Look at this blue. Her book is one long poem, a feat of almost epic proportions. It can be read as a dreamscape, nightmare, fragmented thought, remarkable in its threading of themes, nature and its destruction, its beauty, the disappearance of species, which at the center of the book becomes a zigzag list upon list upon list of the disappeared. The Ben Lomond spineflower, Ashland thistle, golden larkspur, little Sir Manzanita, lists upon lists. And then she writes or demands of us, look at this blue, mutant, blue-eyed coyotes, which leads us right into an entire people missionized. She tells us Father Sierra founded, oversaw, enslavement, tortured, murdered, worked to death, the average lifespan of a mission Indian once taken at any age was 7 years. This loss of native peoples of California, Hedge Coke turns into, again, list-making, 10 pages, and leads us into immigrants crossing borders, farm workers in the fields. Hedge Coke was one. I came from the camps, she says. Then offers us a lyric image from an 11-year-old girl. My eyes are the green of August. Hedge Coke replies, I see her eyes. I see her August now. Hedge Coke's poetic techniques include repetition, a litany of voices and beings, and throughout the connection to self, a kind of sorrow joy. Her book is both catalog, documentation, lyric, or rather a kind of non-lyric. No, not pretty, important. As Hedge Coke points out, California is still home to more indigenous people than any other state, which adds a sense of urgency to these poems, and for Hedge Coke, who is of mixed First Nations and European descent. The stakes are also very deeply personal. She writes, "My gut aches. All this, indelible hurt. Yet," she writes, "a scrub jay calls for peanuts, whole, raw, shell intact. Each year a pair leaves one, takes one with. Our bird stays, plays with squirrels, takes no nuts from us, coexists, trusts." Let us give a big Taos welcome to poet Allison Adelle Hedge Coke.
Before she speaks, I just want to put in a little word. No, really short. No, I just want to let people know that this is the second year I've tried to recruit Allison to come out. And I just want to say how thrilled I am that she has come all the way from California with her sister as well. And so, thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay.
I'm a little clumsy and I've got some presbyophonia from some ear and throat surgery, so I'm going to make sure everybody can hear me. Okay, how about in back, Janetta? Hi, so before I go here, what I'd like to do is thank Jan for her persistence in bringing me here. Thank you, Jan. Thank you. It's so wonderful of you to hang in with me while I agreed to come somewhere. Thank you. She's been an exemplary host as well and has really gone out of her way to make sure things were easy for me, which is super sweet and not common. And so I want to thank Jen for her character and decorum as well. It's unusual in this world. I also want to thank our host who we're staying with, Kathy Fitzgerald, who used to be on the board here at SOMOS, for her utter generosity and loaning us a portion of her home and allowing us to stay there. It's utterly beautiful and it's like a dream to be there. So thank you to Kathy. I want to thank Annie for showing up, who I've never met in person, but we've worked together in different states at the same time, for being here, and my old friend and love of my life, one of them, Janetta Calhoun, she's in the back. I want to give an extended thanks to her because when my sister's here as well, when our mother had passed, my father was already deaf and he suddenly lost his vision as soon as my mom passed, and she was legally blind already, and as soon as she left, that happened to him, so I had to move him in with me. And it was 24/7 care, and I couldn't keep my job that I had, which was a visiting position, and Janetta hired me in her MFA program that she was running and sort of saved my neck and allowed me to continue to stay and take care of my father at a very critical time in my life. One of the many times she stepped up for other people in the field, and just a wonderful human being. And Veronica, who just did the introduction, which I didn't read ahead of time, and I wasn't quite focused because I'm in my own head, but thank you for putting that together. And Veronica's an old friend of my sister. They go back decades and decades ago. So thank you, and thank you to my sister for showing up. And to everybody else who's here, just thank you for being here and being present today. This book came about in an interesting way. I teach California. I did my former field worker retraining in California. My first time to live out there, my sister had moved to the Tenderloin from Albuquerque back in the 70s. And I showed up, some of that will come up. I showed up there in 1980 the first time. I tried again in 85 and did the former field worker retraining there, and was hired immediately by the city of San Buenaventura because they had funds for anyone that passed the program. And so they would get their salary paid for a while. And I got put into collections management and historical correction to help them. And so I had to study the state of California very quickly. And so some of that comes up in this book. Okay. Years later, decades later, I've been back and forth in that state working on several different hires. And when they brought me in for University of California, Riverside about 8 years ago, and I was doing other work at the time, it dawned on me when I arrived on a Fulbright in Montenegro that the book that I had prepared for my publisher, I wasn't feeling, I could hit submit on. And it wasn't because I don't like the book, I do, I just didn't think it should be out. I was feeling it wasn't ready to be out there doing its own thing. So I arrived in Montenegro. I arrived at a host house, beautiful place like we're in now, but in Montenegro, and not at all like Taos, but a beautiful place in and of its own. And I told her I'd like to visit this weekend, but I have a book deadline, and I said, I need to write a new book. And she goes, how much is done? And I said, 0. And she goes, I'm going to Croatia to visit my boyfriend. She had a boyfriend. And she goes, so you have the apartment. And she put me in her daughter's room, which didn't have real windows. It was a room in the center of the apartment, so it had fake windows at the top. And so there's these fake windows where light came from other rooms that had real windows, but nothing to distract you. And I have a bit of hypographia. It's related to temporal lobe epilepsy. And so several of my books have happened during bouts of hypographia, and usually it's when I'm super compelled and also haven't had a lot of sleep. And I'm in the project, and I can't really do anything else. So at this time, I wanted to speak to both the beauty and everything that's wonderful and glorious in the state of California where I live and work, but also all the damage that's been done by the state of California who employ me. And so I was indicting my boss, basically. And so that's how this book happened. So that's my introduction to it. And I'm just going to read. And if you have any questions after, Jen said we'll have a Q&A. Okay. All right, so just come on this ride with me. Once the world was gleaming open, we entered unknowing and believing all we came to, we must deserve, knowing we did not, faced extinction. Look at this blue. Ursus blue butterfly from the sand dunes of San Francisco, the first known American butterfly to become extinct due to humans, first known. Redwood burrows, cut like blisters shaved from trunks, poached life source from root. Killing giants and knobby growth removals the baseline canopy height, bud tissue. Unsprouted genetic code for clone of a parent tree emergence. There was a barrel at my mouth that was ready cocked and held there by my baby brothers, bared grip. The lemon wedge moon pops over, flat consume shallows over the sweet sound, low rustle in loady water. The chortle trill from night language, from standing cranes, sand hills, they've been there all along, standing still knee-deep in station pools. Orion was hovering eastward, drawn and ready. Someone slinks past the door jamb. Each chokehold felled vaporizes cognizance in a world fast shaking herself loose from diabolical torrent. The rising throttled song above the throttle breath was choked out between calligraphies. A madness clenched fury, unfurl release, and misery met in each pummeled break. It's not over. Sleep in despair, sleeping moth-tongued, unrolled against the central incisors, human-throated, a deep yearn for saxophone, trachea windpipe. The sandhills chortle is the only saving grace here. The wetlands are marshaled. There's nothing here on guardian watch. Riverside. Reaching back for slip skateboard, he was hit so hard he flew while braking. A crow above whose wings were sunning swooped at the same time the car careened to halt on Martin Luther King Road, near Boardwell Park, East Side, where the speed limit suddenly increases while approaching two closed crosswalks leading to homes from Stratton Community Center, Boardwell, Emerson Elementary, East Side, black, brown kids and elders. Anyone can see that someone once worked this out. It's all going to burn, said the man accused of setting holy fire. First the puma and Santa Paula palm branch, then the coyotes and fox. The rabbits appeared, and birds overcome sky, plume. The entire yard a carpet of undulating fleas, so thick wrapping bread bags around feet and ankles barely made it passable. Everything escaping heat and fire-stormed arson. 120,000 acres blanket fired, Los Padres National Forest and more, choking like the child they found still hung there. Sleep in the dream of bettering world. Sleep in the dream, nightmare woken. What we carry howls, boggling. Her cheek inflamed, contorts, fanned yet unfanned. She eclipses all asunder, all broken. A Scarface vision in temporal melt. Somewhere on my left face, you can still see where it was sewn back on. On the right, the line across the eyelid, where it was sewn back on. On the abdomen, the line where it was sewn back, sewn back. Somewhere on my right hand, where it was sewn, all the heres and theres were sewn. All the biopsies, removals, explorations, assaults, sewn. What we carry weeps wet-haired. Her cheek contorts when sprayed by the guard from the first time she attempted. Her neck ached. Meanwhile, here, a third body is found in Baldwin Hills fire, and more are missing. Arson again. Someone is out there. Look at this blue, a Palo Verdes blue from the Palo Verdes Peninsula. It's one of the best claims to being the world's rarest butterfly, first thought extinct by development. Newly returned lays eggs on deerweed. Notice the patterning on the underside of her wing. Remember along the way the murdered sow bear, her cubs taken for claws, were all just symptoms of something massive, faster, over. They're killing us, weaponizing nature, sanctifying arms, consecrating each trigger-flexed hand. Dad was in his 80s, on a trailer roof, a sprayer in hand, fighting back ignition. I'm not leaving until everyone leaves, he said, or the time that he battled out of being rolled. Just smoothly turned his cane horizontal, asking punks who should join him when he dies soon enough, until they scrambled across the Kmart parking lot. Trigger turned to my face, every right to bear bitter, every night scheme daybreak flash. There was no need to fictionalize this dude. He is what he is, what man made, what man. Slice lady of squamous, first somewhere in my mid-20s, missing children, taken somewhere. For me, it was a gully, a pond, a base, a van, a hall, a window. Broken branch and canopy, trees like fingers like the stiff blade through my right hand, the bone handle separating the knuckles like gales, tearing muscle bearing my keen weight. Too idiotic to merit note past his criminal code when pressing limits, cruelties as a method of stopping poems so they could not escape. No matter the muse cakes, Santa Ana's, floods, frost on Orange Grove, all that counted elsewise was any snowfall on Topa Topa. There was something lost on his death wish facade, calling itself man. Ghost knocks pounded behind my head on the wall when he tried to stay there. Enigma, can we still use this? Maybe we are. I am. But not in the way Lopez would call me bruja when the plant hangers would split and oranges flew unaided. The chairs bobbed like merguanzers. It was quakes. Northridge was maybe the wildest we met. A pipe bomb, some believed. In the stillness, no one questioned. Some were thrilled by variance, by her shaking us loose. And behind us was Liminaria, a town of a camp. now some suburbia development, but then all sorts of workers, growers since 1893, Rancho Sespe, Floriacantos, La Lucha we would go, Santa Paula, Fillmore, Piru, Oxnard Strawberries, Satakoy Records, Ventura Gold Beaches, Hot Peppers Smoldered and Shouldered Blood Alley, Ventura Freeway 126, oleanders, eucalyptus, rhododendron. I come from the camps, not these, but I served these children. Decades ago, when Olive Land's 7-year-old girl wrote, "My eyes are the green of August," and I still see her eyes, her August now. Condors replenish, a phoenix half-grown chick survives the Big Sur fire and matures. Father's egg with Rebu Queen, whose initial mate was lost to Dolan fire. All phoenix rise, a blue-grain egg until Milky Way splits open up in some hollowed redwood. From cliff edge, something called me once to reach in and feel what left, a gleaned plume gone, fingers raked, pulled from pit, what remnant left there. Let love lead, let hand that pummels rest, let skull rest, let face relieve, let shoulders locked high, tight, recede, let feet cracked, worn, ease, let back stiff sore, bend open, let lungs swell breath like ocean. Let all of us be unbroken. Take heart, earth hears every tremble touch, it feels each foot, listens now, bring her justice, protection, peace. Look at this blue, the mutant blue-eyed coyotes, the chance mutation, the baby blues and 9 coyotes suggest proliferation, the silvery brown back with icy blue eyes, antenna ears turning satellite-like, hearing voles in Santa Cruz, Sacramento at Point Reyes. Their apex predators were mostly wolves, mountain lions, or killed by humans, but here they're thriving, hunting, the blue-eyed chance mutation, tenderloin mornings. Someone took a shot at me by 9 a.m. It's been 2 days since neighbors shot over you, lying over me, protecting you. Since Traveler's Age allowed me to get here and take cover, but at least your father can't kill me now. And this passing car, it's mad at the world, taking pot shots, it has poor aim, or doesn't mean to score, just trying to get some juice. My sister, she's still awake from her night shift, watching you for the first time for 10 minutes, while I cross-hide, then turk, and grab a box of juice, piece of bread, head back unscathed. Passed by the old man someone brought, left here on the street. No one knows his language. My sister says he'll accept a sandwich, juice, so I go back and grab him one. Today it's orange. Here's a heel. Someone from St. Vincent's gave him a cane. He looks maybe blind or cataracted. I wish his name was known. I wish we knew his home to get him with his people. Morning seems so high above. The buildings block out any rise. The whole thing seems to spin cardinal points opposite, so north is south, and me, I'm just scrambling to hydrate, acclimate. In the same year, Tom Petty wailed, "You don't have to live like a refugee." Score before care, not cash. San Francisco labeled me indigent. Didn't offer me a home, just rent to my sister. In a few weeks, you will have red measles, not move for days, dehydrate, will nearly leave. For me standing in line at St. Vincent's with you wrapped tightly in a sling alongside for food, medicine, essentials we don't keep. The stream of morning over your face when you recover. This is before I could express myself. My chin was still positioned ready or chin down and ghosting into horizons that you can't see. My sister, she came here in the 70s, our mom and dad for their honeymoon, after a blind date meeting in San Diego in the late 40s, the last century, but you can still feel them here. Each time we do, it's real, and we call and note the space. Yes, we were there. Before any time passes, we realize other families don't have these homing knowns. My sister walks a block ahead of me, embarrassed, mocking me to her city friends, like we walked aisles over from our mom, who was deep in delusion, cursing through aisles in a Piggly Wiggly, but not mocking her, not once. Where does this mocking come from? Raven cry, my heart. Here, streets are lined with fresh refugees, straggler homeless, cardboard boxmen, prostitutes, pimps. Beautiful neighborhood people who teach me you can get a great meal for $2 on this block and how to eat with chopsticks, which store gives free bread if you don't have dough. Lots of people pass through. They're not alone. How many times was I given up and left for dead, rejected, objectified, ejected, and doesn't matter still, when jump-started or just woken unexpectedly, always returning to this world, the beauty, abject misery, layered, still splendor despite beautiful, horrendous juxtapositioning throughout time. Look at this blue, Mission Blue Butterfly from Coastal Chaparral, the Grasslands, Mission District, San Francisco, the Twin Peaks, Marin County, most upon San Bruno Mountain, the small, delicate gossamer winged male, iridescent blue lavender female, the dark brown blue base, fringed and long white hair-like scales, the undersides are spotted, the wingspread is 1 to 1.5 inches. Caterpillars solely ingest the native California lupine, eat silver, summer, varicolor lupine. The adults drink flower nectar, buckwheat, golden asters, wild hyacinths endangered first by development. Public infrastructure development projects remain her significant threat. Mercy, mercy, oh, mercy, mercy me. Perforating his heart, lung, liver, the Los Angeles County coroner shot twice. Oh, mercy, mercy. Look at this blue. The blue whale alongside Monterey, San Diego, Baja, the gentle giant, the heaviest animal to ever live on Earth, twice Argentinosaurus. The ship strikes kill 11 per year. The U.S. West Coast with ship increase. The population will be depleted. Noise, military testing, sonic battery, chemicals, plastics, krill, anchovy, tiny fish, crustaceans absorb microplastics. A blue whale eats between 2 and 4 tons of krill per day, blue with a belly full of plastic. In the bus, on the way to retraining for field workers, we left Santa Paula for Ventura daily. Rhododendron, eucalyptus, limonaria orange groves, peppers, flowers for Burpee Seed Company, the red-winged hawks every mile of eucalyptus, 126 Ventura Freeway, on watch like us for movement. X, Santa Paula, the North Star of Vanuatu, the Mupu of Shumash. We escaped Tier 2, refugees, with closed eyes that finger conjure map, conjure home. This is where, from here, everything changes. Rewrite, reset, reverb, offer projects for San Ynez kids at get-go, offer self, send for my folks to follow. Dad notes, know this, if there's any snowfall on Topa Topa, everything's okay. Mom doesn't leave the pickup until the 4th day. Vallejo apartment, their last place West Coast, way prior to my lifetime. Restful now, restart, gratitude, so lucky to have a dad. Santa Paula Bank on Harvard, was it? Dad, deaf, spoke out loud. Where did everyone go? While the tellers ducked and covered, while Robert displayed his weapon to me and gestured at my toddler. Suggest I gather. I motioned toward my dad, gesturing his deafness, offer to gather him as well. Mercy with peace from the bank robber who now escapes on a bicycle. About the time the tellers recognize him from high school. Here in the shadows, leaves, keep life close. Fruit, the taste of it, dusk following plant grows around the crates. The comfort here is home. There's nothing like a bed under the stars when we need it. Gleam now in rain slickening, a royal willow branch, blue elderberry, summon wind, the Santa Ana's tango reason, the still leaves in night, embanged by owl wing. Here we're hammocked over the oasis, watering life, the rocks form mouse pre-dawn calling. Deep in night, corded sky ropes tugged through our visceral root, harness our reckoning, throttle to timbre, thrum, strum, pluck gut sleeve, kindle, fiddle, full belly, flourish the poppies as quarter notes and spiral double helix above, high above, California fan palm, until stars are born. Your palms know where to go. What they imagine leads you. Everything we muster moves us along like water itself remembers where to flow and how to go there. In the dream you follow. In the dream we fly over all this direness. We float vaquitas. We move like smallest porpoises, undulate in air like swimming, arms tight against our sides. California spread below us, the manzanitas gleaming in sun. The stars ahead in darkness await our time there. And for now, it is the offering we make. Look at this blue, the Hidden Lake blue curls. From Hidden Lake, San Jacinto, Riverside County, on the shores of a single vernal pool, ephemeral, trampling by hikers and sightseeker in danger, each flower a hairy calyx with pointed sepals, tubular corona. 50 flowers might fit on a penny. A member of the mint family. Delisting, the seeds are stored in a seed bank. Vulnerable, will you take me as I am, California? Thank you.
Wow.